Hey, this is Peggy with Easy Peasy Machine Embroidery, and I am in MySewNet Platinum today, and we are going to make a reverse applique throw blanket. The blanket is done on fleece, and this is a maple leaf blanket done for the fall. And I basically did on the front side, each of the flannel appliques were a different type, different color of flannel, and on the back side, the flannel appliques were all of the same print. That's how I tell the front from the back. So all I did to do this throw was go into MySewNet Platinum, and I went into the Create tab. And then I went into digitizing, and I went out on the internet and got a silhouette for whatever thing I wanted, and a great place to find silhouettes is silhouettegarden.com. And anyway, I just Googled a maple leaf and found a maple leaf for this purpose. And here is load the picture, and you can see that I have looked at a few different maple leaves, and this is the one I chose because I didn't want any kind of stem. I actually removed the stem on this one, and crop as is. And because I don't want to be spending a zillion hours doing these, I'm going to choose the big metal hoop, and here it is. And all I'm going to do is go into the Quick Create tab. I'm going to pick applique. I like to use an echo fill on these, so I'm going to pick echo fill. I'm going to go over here to fill area and line, and I'm going to tell it what I want my line to be. And for appliques, I do like a little thicker line. For my options as far as the echo fill, I like a pretty big gap, so I'm going to try 18 at this point. For the applique, you can see where I've got different fabrics added, but I don't want any type of fabric here, so I'm just going to plain old pick a color, and I'm going to say OK and see what it looks like. I'm going to do a quick stitch, do the outline, and looks halfway decent, but I am going to do a right click over the design, one more right click, and I'm going to tune that line back to a 4 because it looks a little thick at this point, and I'm going to apply that. And as far as my echo, I am going to try going back to, say, a 16. See what that does. That gives me a little bit more of an echo. And I'm going to try 15. Alright, I like 15 much better. Let's try 14. Alright. 14 it is. So I'm going to say OK to 14. And then I'm going to click out here and see what it looks like. I have a little issue right here. A little issue right here. So I'm going to click in the echo. And I'm going to take a little closer look on some of these. I'm going to get rid of some of these curves, or angles, I should say. And I'm going to go down into the zoom tool, And take a closer look up here. Something's going on up here that I don't like. So I'm going to right click. Oh, see what's going on here? I am going to go to the home and I'm going to say delete some of these points because I don't need them. I want a nice clean angle there. And I think I saw that happening someplace else. Let me go back out. No, I guess not. Okay, so let's take a little closer look at some of these. Right here I see kind of an issue. And I'm in edit points, so I'm going to straighten this curve out a little bit. And I'm going to take a gander down here. There's an angle that I don't want. The other thing you can do sometimes on these is if you go to the home and delete some of these points, sometimes it straightens things out a little bit. You just need to remember that when you hit delete, that afterwards you have to go back in and hit edit. Otherwise, it will keep deleting. Straighten that curve out. I'm going to hit delete here. Delete there. Oh, I don't like that, so we're going to do Control Z and add that one back in. I'm going to turn that into a curve. That looks okay. I'm going to turn that into a curve by just clicking on it. Turn that into a curve. That into a curve. Oh, see, here was another one. We want to go up here and hit delete points. And at this point, I don't know which ones I want to get rid of. So do that one and edit points and move that. And here's a bunch here that look like they're not happy to be there. And go back into edit. Smooth that out a little bit. Let's take a little look up here. That looks okay. This one can be turned back into a curve instead of the angle. This can be curved, and this one can probably be gotten rid of. This one does need to stay in a curve, in an angle. Okay. Move down here. I'm going to pull that back out. This one I think can, and we can get rid of a couple of these points. Probably this one. Let's zoom in and see what that looks like. I see right here is a little blurb. Let's turn that, or actually even delete a couple of those points and straighten that baby out. Hum-bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. And get rid of that, and get rid of that. And I think we can get rid of that one. And go back into edit. Smooth this out a little bit. And I think we can probably get rid of that one. And that one. And move this one. And I want to get rid of this one, I think. Alright. And this one. Checking for other angles that I don't think I need. Okay. Alright, I'm going to look at live view and see what it looks like. Alright, that looks like I can deal with it. Okay. So, I always do a export applique piece, print template. If you have a Cricut, you can do that same deal up there. Print. I like to do it as a Microsoft print to PDF. That way I always have that leaf file. Here's my maple leaf template. I say save it. And because I already have one saved, I'm not going to do that. And basically, that's how I would do that template. And that's the design. So, I would do that, export it out into my MySewNet cloud, and I'm finished with that design. We're good to go. Now, I'm doing it on the metal hoop because I'm going to use AquaMagic. And I'm using AquaMagic because I'm doing this on fleece. And if you don't use the AquaMagic, that fleece will stretch. Believe me, I know. The first time I did it, I used regular AquaMagic. The paper, I knew I wasn't going to use paper because I didn't want my fleece blanket to be all crinkly and whatnot. So I tried the AquaMagic, and as it was stitching, it was stretching and pulling. The AquaMagic Plus is sticky, so you stick it right, the fleece right down onto the AquaMagic Plus. The magnets hold the paper down, and I will show you some pictures of that in just a minute. So we'll go on a pause for a second, and I'll bring those pictures up. So yes, I do use the large metal hoop for these things. It goes a little faster. You should not use more than 8 magnets on these hoops. They get too heavy if you use more than that. And I tend to store my magnets on one of the metal rulers like Joanne sells. You can see that the centers are marked on the hoops. So that is helpful when you're laying the fleece down onto the sticky stuff. The AquaMagic gets laid onto the metal hoop with the paper side up, and then you take a scissor or a stylus, what do you call those, a stiletto. I use a scissor and I kind of score it in diagonals across, and then I take a stiletto and I peel up one little tiny corner, and then I peel the paper back. I use a ruler and I mark with my finger where the 12 inches is on the ruler, and that's where I place my design in the center of my hoop using that 12 inch. Keep my finger where that 12 inches is, and then I find the center of my hoop, and that's where I place the center of that fleece. I've got that fleece folded with the right sides towards the center. And then I just fold the ends back and stick the fleece down onto that sticky side of that AquaMagic Plus. And I take the magnets one at a time and I put them back up on top of the fleece. The first stitch out is the placement line, and you can see that on the back side of the magnet. So you stitch that placement line out, and then you take the hoop off of your embroidery arm, and you turn your hoop over to a flat surface so you can see that placement line. And then you're going to go ahead and place your fabric over that placement line, overlap, so it's going to have about a half inch to an inch over that placement line. You do not want to get that painter's tape in your stitching line, because that's a pain in the butt to pick out of there. So you want to have that fabric hanging over that stitching line just a bit, so that when you tape it down, you're not going to get your tape into your stitching line. And you're going to flip your hoop back over, so that, and then you're going to reattach your hoop to the embroidery arm. And then you can lay the top fabric over the placement line, which will show up on the top side of the hoop, doing the same thing, except you don't need to really tape that one down. You can pretty much just you know, hold it with your finger or a stylus or something, and watch it as it stitches around to make sure that there's no bubbles or anything in it. But I don't usually have to tape the top side down. And that's basically it. Once you've laid the fabric down, it's going to stitch around the fabric 2 times, and it's going to stop, and that is your trim. That's where you have to trim your around the design, and you got to do that front and back with a set of applique shears. And then when you do that, you're going to take the hoop off of the embroidery unit, and then you're going to put the hoop back on the embroidery unit, and it's going to stitch the inside echo lines, and then it's going to do the satin stitch, and then you're totally done. And then all you have to do is unhoop it and continue on to the next design. And basically all I do when I've got all the appliques done is I take a little spray bottle of water, and I'll spray right close to the edges of the designs, and I will peel that AquaMagic paper off of the back side where the AquaMagic is, and any AquaMagic that is left behind, you can take it to the sink. Hot water gets rid of it pretty quick, and then I sometimes will take and put it through a gentle wash cycle. The other thing when I'm dealing with flannel is I will wash that flannel first, because flannel will shrink a little bit. So I wash my flannel first before I apply it as an applique. But when I'm totally done doing all the appliques, yes, I do wash it, and then I will do a bias binding with some kind of flannel that matches what I've already put on with the appliques, and that is the applique throw. And it's got the design on both sides, and it looks pretty cool, and you can do that with just about any silhouette you want. So hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you come back for more someday. And give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave me comments, and hope you have a great day. Bye.